Ian Garry wastes his time to call out Khamzat Chimaev. Now, that's generally the type of thing that would piss me off for a couple of reasons. First off, they're not in the same weight class. And second off, and I used to live this life. I used to live this life with the only time a guy would speak up against me is when he had no chance of getting the contract. Chimaev is fighting for a world title that's well publicized in Chicago opposite Dricus du Plessis. Like, you can call him out until you're blue in the face. There's nothing Chimaev can do about it. It's a great time to call a guy out. I'll just tell you, from being in Chimaev's place of this spot, it's very aggravating. Because I am not going to waste the media opportunity I have to build a fight that I've already got to handle a public dust-up with you. It's where you get the guy by the short and curlies. But I still like this call out by Chimaev, and you want to know why? By Ian Garry. And you guys, you would have to remember the history. But Chimaev and Garry did not get along. That was in the media. Chimaev gets into an elevator with Garry and Gary's wife. They don't talk to each other. The doors open, Chimaev gets off. Now it's just the Garry family in the elevator. And the wife says to Garry, she calls him a pussy and says, you should have fought him. You should have fought him. And Gary's going, wait a minute, I got you here. I got myself to protect. I'm out here doing my thing. He's doing his thing. There's no referees. What do you mean? And she said, you should have fought him. If you're going to speak that way about him in the media and he's going to speak that way about you and you guys have an opportunity, you should have fought him. Great. Now hold whatever you think, whatever side you are on that story, hold that off. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting that Ian Garry, all these years later, that's been almost 3 years, still has an open-ended grudge, and he would like to tie up those loose ends. There's something about that that is, in fact, compelling. So, I don't predict that we're getting any closer to that fight. And before we even start to live in crazy land of getting those guys those weight classes, I think that Garry is on a very good trajectory at 170 pounds and may well become champion someday, soon. Somewhere between this calendar year and next. So that would be within 3 to 5 fights. Yes, within 5 fights, Ian Garry will become champion or prove that he's not good enough to be champion. But Chimaev is only 2 months away from that. He's either going to be champion or prove that he's not good enough to be champion. And you got to understand, if you got 2 guys that have proved they're not good enough to be champion, we might as well get them together. That's where fights come that you put a belt up known as the BMF. Just for example, don't go get excited thinking this is the fight and you're being promised one. But don't get your panties in a bunch thinking you're being teased either. Garry has now spoke about Chimaev. Nobody gets away with that. Nobody. That means we are guaranteed one thing. Chimaev will speak about Garry. And those little back and forths. And I don't think the idea of a BMF, even if I am down the line, I don't think that's off limits. In fact, I think that sounds pretty good.